Hello everyone, this is Angela here, and today I want to talk about the narcissistic personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and talk about a little bit about what's going on in the present day with regard to what's happening with my life. Because I haven't done a video in a while, and I thought that now would be a good time to let my viewers know how I was doing. I took some time off because I'm trying to take care of my mental health. It's been really stressful with regard to the office and with regard to situation in my personal life. I ended a 2-year relationship with my man, and that pretty much went sour pretty fast. And so here's what's going on. First, I want to talk about the office. Well, I've been under a lot of work stress because lawyers are not immune to narcissistic abuse. And if you work for a law firm and your lawyer does either family law or criminal law, be prepared to have to deal with narcissists. And narcissists can create a lot of destruction for the attorneys. And I just want to explain a little bit what they do. They constantly lie by omitting details and twisting the truth. They constantly reframe their questions when they don't like the answers that the attorneys are giving them. They constantly lie to the attorneys and lie about attorneys having conversations with third parties that never took place simply to cause fighting, especially when it comes to the criminal law attorney and the probation department. Okay? And when they're trying to stir the pot, unless you're really in tune to what's going on, there's going to be a lot of fighting on the job. And right now, we are under narc attack. I can't go into details. Real bad narc attack at the office, to the point where it has triggered me. That on top of what's going on in my personal life, which I will get into in a minute, that has triggered me into a panic attack the other day. I have not suffered from a panic attack since 2009, and I want to explain what happens when I have a panic attack. I was on my way into the office, and I have to walk through Suburban Station to get to where I need to go. And I'm thinking about what's happening in the office with this narcissist who's constantly lying, triangulating, shit stirring, and doing everything she can to make everybody's life miserable. There's another attorney working on this particular case. His paralegal is like going through insanity too, and we all are just kind of fed up. It triggered me to the point where my anxiety was so high going into the office last week that I began to shake all over uncontrollably, and then I started to sweat. Not only was I, on my way to work, but I had to run an errand and go to the bank to make my deposit, to pay my bills and whatever, and I could not make the deposit because I did not remember my account number, and that's when the shakes started. So this is why I do not work full-time at the moment. It's not because I have some type of mental, chemical imbalance, bipolar, whatever. It's the overwhelming stress that I have to deal with working in a law practice, okay? So I hope if anybody questions why I'm not where I need to be at the moment, this is why. Okay, not that it's anyone's business, but I'm a child survivor of narcissistic abuse. I am also a trauma survivor of a wicked attraction that could have very easily turned into a violent crime. I don't know if it was heading that way, but the evidence strongly suggested that it was. that chapter of my life is now over, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces. It's 6 years now, no contact, and I'm still trying to pick up the pieces of what happened in my life. I went public to share my story, to try to reach out to other narcissistic abuse survivors, to try to help people to understand how destructive and toxic narcissistic abuse is, and to do whatever you can to have as little to no contact. No contact is the best way, but if you do have to communicate with a narcissist, make sure that you document everything, and that everything, your conversations and dealings with them are at a minimal. You know, it's really difficult for people that have children with narcissists. I hear you. I feel for you. Just do the best that you can, and please take care of your mental health. I hate the word post-traumatic stress disorder. I kept denying it, that I had post-traumatic stress disorder, but the events that are happening to me lately are clear indicators of post-traumatic stress disorder, and I have got to pull myself together. Even so, I managed to go into the office, deal with it, and when I had to, when I felt things were getting too much, I would excuse myself, go to the restroom, calm myself down, let it pass, and get my ass back there and go to work. I have fought too hard for my legal career, and I'm not going to allow anybody to destroy what I so hard fought for all my life. This is what I do, this is what I love to do, and I will continue to be a paralegal and do the very best that I can to make it in my occupation. I do not want to be on disability. I do not want to be on welfare. I do not want to be on food stamps. I do not judge others that are on assistance, because I understand, you know, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's, the way they deal with things are different, and there's no judgments on here. But for me personally, I'm fighting for my life here, Jack, and ain't nobody going to take me down. Nobody. I'm sticking with my career. Okay, so you guys get the point. So my boss and I are on the same page. We had a staff meeting, we had a meeting, not a staff meeting, but I had a meeting with him. I told him what this was, what's happening, and he's on board, and we just gotta let the narc do what the narc is going to do, and we'll just deal with it as it comes. And I you know, we set firm boundaries, and, you know, we are doing everything we can not to engage this person unless we absolutely have to. I just can't wait until they dry up and blow away. Anyway, now from a personal life, I thought that I was in a very loving relationship with my man. You know, I talked about our relationship on my channel, and what had happened was, in a nutshell, he did not understand what I was going through, what I had been through, and he was not really supportive of what was happening in my life. And as a result, I started becoming a bit depressed. I became more of a shut-in. I stopped doing the things that I wanted to do. Plus, my car had broken down. I had to junk my car, and I was holding off on getting another car because I was trying to save my money, and I was also trying to help him. To tell you a little bit about my man, my ex, he was a gentleman that, and I'm not here to slander him, okay? I'm not here to slander him. But I want to make a point that when you're a child of narcissistic abuse, you constantly have that fear of the other shoe dropping. You never ever feel safe, ever, because you're waiting for that moment when the other shoe drops and you're stabbed in the back. And it happened to me over and over again throughout the course of my life. It happened on Easter Sunday 1995 when my mother did that nastiness, and, you know, it's all on video. If you those who are new to my channel, check out that video. If you really want to know my story about how I almost found myself involved in a near violent crime, check out my Wicked Attraction series. There's a lot of stuff on here that I said, and it's all true. So what happened was, I meet this guy in 2013, and first everything was great. He was a guy that I really felt compassion for, because I tend to be very compassionate and empathetic towards people. I'm the first one there to help out when anyone needs something. I don't know why that is. I just kind of have this people pleaser syndrome in me, and something that I need to work on with regard to myself. Here was a guy that, was kind of down on his luck. He needed some help, and, we got together, and within a couple months, we started living together. I was alone, he was alone, and I helped him out financially a little bit. I paid some of his traffic tickets, and I was trying to teach him sense of responsibility, and because he wasn't good at managing his money, he had bad credit, he had some things going on. Okay, you guys get the point. So what had happened was, turns around, and he wasn't happy with his job. He quit the one job that he did have when I met him, and he left that job to go to another job. Unfortunately, that job didn't work out. He got laid off, and then he found this other job, and he didn't like that job. He ended up walking out and quitting after like a week and a half. It was a really good paying job, but he didn't like it, so he quit. All well and good. He had another job that he was working, so he kind of was itinerant with regard to his job hopping. He wasn't really stable. I was the one that was stable, but I never really fully trusted him. It's like, because I've grown up in an environment where you could never fully trust 100%, like you get into this like animal instinct mode where you prepare yourself for bad things to happen. It becomes the dynamic of your personality. And for me personally, it created a lot of stress and worry. Constant worry. Worry, which in return caused depression. It's all the elements of post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, and all the nastiness that goes with it. So, I started to notice that he was going out more, and he wouldn't stay out all night. Like, he would come home, he would go to his favorite coffee shop, where the Italians congregate in South Philly. And all well and good, I had no problem with it. I always gave him his space. I never broke his balls, And what happened was, he turns around. He needed money to buy a car for work purposes, because the job that he was in didn't provide a vehicle. So I loaned him $3,000 to buy a car, which, I was in like a catch-22 position. It was either I loaned him money for a vehicle, or he wasn't going to work, and then he wouldn't be able to contribute towards the rent. And, even though I could have, paid for everything, it's like I didn't want to, so I figured, well, I'll take the chance, and either way I'm going to have to pay, so I might as well loan him the money and get the car. Get the car, and then he started going out more, and, I was okay with it, but then I started to sense that something wasn't right. Here it is on my birthday, okay? My birthday comes, and what happened was, he was out, came home with a birthday card, gives me a gift card and a birthday card, and he says, I want to have a talk with you. And I was like, what's up? And he said, I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And I'm like, what? So I was like, what do you mean you love me, but you're not in love with me? So here, to make a long story short, he was going out with this Italian friend of his. They were hanging out at Stogie Joe's bar in South Philly, and he, being the egotistical macho man that he was, he had girls hanging around him, and, he, decided that he wanted to test the waters or explore his thing. So you mean to tell me that I stood by you, loaned you money for a car, helped you took you in, got an apartment, because the apartment was my apartment. It wasn't his apartment. It was my apartment. I paid the down payment. I made more money than him. I just was in a better position all around than he was, okay? Not good enough, okay? Not good enough. So I was like, okay, fine. I said, here's the thing. You go and you tell somebody on their birthday, give them a birthday card, and you tell that person that they love you, but they're not in love with you. You tell a woman that, and that's like igniting a stick of dynamite, especially this woman. It's like, yes, I'm a very kind person. Yes, I tend to be a people pleaser, but don't mistake my kindness for weakness, okay? So I was like, okay, well, isn't this nice? Isn't this just freaking fabulous? So I was like, okay, we're done. So I got on the phone, called the movers, called my landlord, told my landlord, because I had a month-to-month lease. I said, told my landlord, said to him, explained the situation, told him I'm moving out within the end of the month. So my man was like, well, I need time to get my life together. I need time to move out. I was like, that's not my problem. That's your problem, okay? Now, being the person that I am, I always have backup cash, because the wicked attraction has taught me that you got to be prepared for anything, and I mean anything. So I always have like a secret bank account, secret money and everything. That's not his money. That's my money. I earned it, and he wasn't getting it. But there was still the issue of $3,000. So I said, I want my money. And he's like, well, I'm going to give you your money. I'm going to pay you when I can. And I know how he is with his creditors. He doesn't pay people because he doesn't think that he has to. I said, no, you're going to pay me my money, and you're going to pay me now. I said, you got $2,000 saved up, okay, to pay your IRS taxes next year. I want that $2,000, and I want it now. And he's like, I'm not giving you my tax money. I said, oh no, you're not giving me my tax money? Well, here's the deal. Either you give me you give me that $2,000, or I get in touch with your ex-wife, and I tell your ex-wife, the narcissist, that they changed the child support laws in 2013, and that you're underpaying at least $100 a week, what you should be paying, okay? And then you'll have to deal with the Chester County courts. And not only that, your ex-wife is going to find out about all your little side jobs and how much money you make to install cameras for all these little businesses on the side that in South Philly that you've been doing. You got money to go out and take out these bitches? You got money to pay me back my money. I want my money, and I want it now. So what happened was, I got the $2,000, okay? Now, I don't know if I'm going to get the $1,000 that he owes me, but I think I'm going to get it because he knows that I mean business. That letter will go out to his ex-wife at the end of the month, and I will tell her everything. If you have to tag team with a narc to get back what's yours, you got to do what you got to do. And it's not being vindictive. It's not being vindictive at all. It's like, I don't like being robbed. As long as he pays me back my money, I'm not going to be spiteful. Whatever he does, that's his business. I wish him well. I don't care. Okay? I don't force somebody to be with me if they don't love me. It's best to just cut your losses and move on. So the point I'm trying to make is you got to be prepared for anything that happens. Okay? Anything. And, you know, the point I'm trying to make is I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm coping with this PTSD, and I don't want to have to go on medication if I don't have to. And so far, I'm making it. Okay, my boss has got my back. He knows I got his back. Everything is calmed down at the office because we know what we're dealing with, and we're just doing everything we can to get away from it. So with that said, you know, this is what's happening in my life right now. This is why I took off a month. And the moral of the story is, for all you narcissistic abuse survivors out there, make sure that you take care of yourself. Make sure that you always have a backup plan. Make sure that, you know, if you have that sickening, disgusting gnawing in the core of your soul that tells you that something isn't right, you know that feeling. You know that feeling. And you don't ignore that feeling, and be prepared. Okay? Be prepared. Protect yourself at all costs. Okay? I mean, I had a truck, I had my kids, my shit packed, a truck came up, and I was gone. Within 2 weeks, I was gone. I left them, and I'm not looking back. Let these bitches take care of him. And I'll tell you what, as soon as these bitches find out that he doesn't even have money to buy them a frickin' hamburger at McDonald's, let's see how that happens. Okay? Okay? Because it does not help you to be in a relationship where you always got to take money out of your pocket to pay for somebody else's irresponsibilities. So don't ignore that red flag when you're getting involved in a relationship. If it's a man that doesn't have his act together, or if it's a woman that doesn't have her act together, her credit's bad, she's irresponsible, she doesn't work, he doesn't work, whatever's going on, you know, you gotta pay attention to these things. Don't give your all. Save that one part of yourself to be able to get out and be safe, okay? With minimal damage. I know you gotta cut your losses when you gotta cut your losses, but that's the way it goes. I know that I'm going to get a payment at the end of the month because he knows what's going to happen to him if he doesn't. And believe me, he's going to be in really bad shape if that narc finds out that they changed the child support laws in 2013. And believe me, we have a family law attorney, and I checked this out thoroughly with him, who told me. And that's why I told my ex to begin with. I said, look, you better make sure that whatever it is she needs you to pay for your daughter, that you pay it, because she's going to get it from the courts, and they're going to nail your ass. So, you know, like I said, somebody telling their girlfriend that they love you but they're not in love with you, that has no place to go, no money, okay, no steady job, no savings, not too smart, is it? Yeah. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.